The marble spins again. Listen closely. This is Dead Air Theater. I never left the woods. That's how people phrase it. Like the woods are something you abandon when they stop being useful. A place you outgrow. A phase. But once they take something from you, you don't get to pretend you're done with them. You don't get to decide when the relationship ends. Jess and I used to live about 40 feet from the edge of the Hillbrook Woods. That's what it was called on the maps, Hillbrook. Like something gentle. Like a place meant for afternoon walks and bird watching. In reality, it was dense, old, and mostly untouched. The trees grew close together. The light never quite reached the ground the way it should have. Even in summer, the air inside felt damp and stale, like the woods were holding their breath. The house had been cheap because of the proximity. Too close for comfort, the realtor said, laughing. Jess squeezed my hand like that was funny, like it was charming. We were young enough then to believe proximity couldn't hurt us. Years later, our daughter, Sarah, loved those woods. She liked to sit on the back steps and watch the tree line like she was waiting for it to do something. Jess worried about ticks. I worried about her wandering too far. Sarah worried about neither. She said the woods made her feel quiet inside. She went missing about 11 years ago. She was 6 years old. I tucked her into bed myself that night. I remember it because Jess was already asleep on the couch, worn thin from another day of chasing the kid around. Sarah asked me to leave the hallway light on. I told her the nightlight was enough. She said okay, but she didn't sound convinced. I checked the window, locked, checked the door, closed. I kissed her on the forehead and told her that I loved her. When I woke up, she was gone. There were searches. Of course there were. Dogs that pulled against their leashes like they knew something we didn't. Volunteers in borrowed boots. Helicopters that rattled the windows and made Jess flinch every time they passed overhead. Men who spoke softly and avoided eye contact, like looking at us for too long might make it real for them too. Nothing ever turned up. No blood, no clothes, no signs of struggle. No footprints that made sense, just trees and ground that didn't care what we were asking it. Earth that had already decided it wasn't giving anything back. At first, Jess and I moved together through the grief like a single body. We finished each other's sentences. We took turns not sleeping. We searched in shifts, like if one of us stopped looking, something terrible might happen. And then the questions started. Why didn't I hear anything? Why didn't she wake us up? Why didn't you leave the hallway light on? We never said them out loud at first, but they sat between us anyway, heavy and unsaid. Eventually, the silence became easier than talking, because talking always led back to the same place. After they stopped calling it an active search, we lasted 3 more years. People say we didn't fight, but that's not true. We just didn't fight loudly. Our fights were quiet, exhausted things. Jess wanted to pack up Sarah's room. I wanted to leave it exactly the same. Jess wanted to talk about therapy. I wanted to talk about maps. Jess wanted to remember who we were before. I wanted to remember where Sarah might be right now. She started calling the woods that place. I started calling them out there. By year 5, she told me she couldn't live where Sarah disappeared. She said every morning felt like waking up at the edge of an open grave. She said she needed to move on. And I heard that as move on without her. I told her I couldn't live anywhere else, that leaving felt like admitting Sarah wasn't coming back, that if I went far enough away, the woods would win. Jess cried when she said goodbye. I didn't. I watched her car disappear down the dirt road like I was watching something inevitable finally happen. She said she hoped I'd forgive her someday. I didn't know what that would even look like. After she left, the house felt wrong. Too close to the woods to be home. Too far from them, to be honest. So I built a small cabin in a little clearing farther inside. Just lumber and nails and excuses. I told myself that it made the searching easier. That was a lie, but it was a useful one. Once a month, I still go out looking. Same routines, same clearings, same places where hope used to flare up and then die. I don't really expect to find her. I stopped expecting anything years ago. But I go anyway. That night, I was sitting on the porch with my rifle across my knees. Not hunting. I don't hunt anymore. The rifle is just weight. Something solid to remind me I'm still here. It was colder than it should have been. The woods were quiet in the way that makes you aware of your own breathing. And then, somewhere nearby,
Daddy?
I stood up so fast my chair fell over. I swung the lantern toward the tree line. A child stepped into the light. For a moment, just a moment, I forgot how long it had been. She was the right size, the right shape, a little too thin, but Sarah had always been thin. Her hair hung in uneven tangles around her face. She wore a nightgown that looked too light for the cold. The same one she had went to sleep in all those years ago. Sarah. That word hurt coming out. She didn't move any closer, but she tilted her head.
You say my name like you're scared.
My hands were shaking. I hadn't realized I'd lifted the rifle until I felt the strain in my arms. I lowered it again. I felt the urge to rush toward her and sweep her up, hold her tight. Simultaneously, somewhere too deep inside to name, I felt an intense fear. The two coalesced into a state of rigidity, a frozen panic. I felt a tear well up and roll down my cheek. Sarah, is it really you? Where have you been? She looked down at her feet.
I got lost. You don't like it when I say that.
My stomach tightened. Come inside. You're freezing.
You didn't check if it's really me.
I felt something cold move behind my eyes. Baby, please, just...
You used to ask questions first. You stopped doing that after.
After what?
After I didn't come back.
The words were calm, factual. I took a step backward without meaning to. How old are you? She frowned, like she was trying to remember something.
I think I'm supposed to say 6. That's when you liked me best.
My mouth went dry. You're not 6. It's been... You can't be 6, you'd be... I stopped myself. My heart was hammering too hard to think straight. You'd be... older now. She nodded.
I know, that part didn't work.
I tightened my grip on my rifle. Say something that only Sarah would know. Something that I've never told anyone but my daughter. She looked up at me then. Really looked at me. And for the first time, I understood that she wasn't afraid of my questions.
You used to count my ribs when I wouldn't sleep. You'd count them with your finger and stop when I laughed.
The lantern trembled in my hand.
You said it made monsters go away, but you were lying. It helped anyway.
My knees nearly gave out. I whispered her name again. I don't know why. Hope is a reflex. The child took one step closer. Don't! She stopped immediately.
You don't like it when I move without permission. I remember.
My chest burned. What did you do to her? The question came out flat, used up. Her brow furrowed. Not guilt or fear. Confusion.
I didn't hurt her.
The woods felt closer. Thicker.
She kept waking up. She kept calling for you. I tried to bring her back, but she wouldn't stay where I put her.
I swallowed hard. Put her where?
Where lost things go.
My vision blurred.
You kept coming back for her, so I thought I was maybe doing it wrong.
You took my daughter. She nodded.
I took her, but I didn't keep her.
The words didn't make sense, and she seemed to realize that.
She didn't fit. She kept wanting things I couldn't give her. She wanted her mother, she wanted mornings, and she wanted to grow.
My stomach turned. So, you let her go? The almost child shook her head.
No, she broke.
The word landed like a gunshot. You can't break a child.
You can, if you don't know how to hold them.
I raised the rifle and aimed it at her chest. If you took her, then you can bring her back. She looked at the barrel, then back at my face.
I tried. This is the closest I can get.
Something inside me cracked completely then. You're wearing her face. She glanced down at herself.
I practiced. I thought if I stayed long enough, you'd stop noticing the parts I got wrong.
I felt tears on my face again and didn't bother wiping them away. What do you want? She looked relieved to be asked something she understood.
I want to stay. You come out here every month. You look for her like she's still yours.
She tilted her head.
I could be.
The rifle shook in my hands. You already took her. You don't get to take me too. She considered that carefully.
I didn't mean to take her forever, but you don't stop looking. That makes this confusing.
The lantern flickered again.
I won't wander. I won't grow up. I won't
My finger tightened on the trigger. "You'll never be my daughter." Her face fell. Not in anger or in sadness, just acceptance.
That's okay. She wasn't either.
Not at the end.
I screamed then. I don't remember pulling the trigger. The sound tore through the woods and came back wrong. And when the light steadied, there was no child standing there. Just the trees, the night, the place where my daughter had vanished. I stayed on that porch until morning. At dawn, I went into the woods like I always do. I found nothing. But sometimes, when I say her name out loud, I hear footsteps stop just out of sight, waiting to see if I'll ask the right questions this time. This episode of Dead Air Theater was written and performed by Edward and Aurora Baker. Yeah, half written by a 6-year-old. Cool, right? If you've enjoyed this episode of Dead Air Theater, consider following the show and leaving a comment or a rating. And if you are so inclined, there is a Discord link somewhere in the thingies. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.